Hey everyone, I'm Jill the Wandering Stamper, and I hope you are having a fabulous day today. I know we are very close to the holidays at the time I'm filming this, and I know that today it's posting on Christmas. So, Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays, no matter what you celebrate. I hope you're having a fabulous time this month. So today we're going to be making a split triangle layout card. It's not a fun fold, but it's a layout that you can use over and over and over again. It's really pretty. You can play it up, you can play it down, you can make it simple, you can make it fancy. You can do so much with it. So I thought, in the interest of all the craziness going on this season, it would be nice to just have a fun go-to card layout to show you today. And I think I'm going to be putting some card layouts in the mix a little more often because we can all benefit from having some beautiful cards that we will know how to make that don't necessarily involve a whole bunch of assembly. So we'll have a little bit of both, some fun folds, some card layouts. So I think that I will do a little more mixing and matching in the future. Let me know if you like that or not. I always want to do what you guys want to see, and I love your feedback. So feel free to comment and let me know. So let me take a moment to turn the camera down and we'll get started on this card. Thanks for joining me. Here are the products we're going to be using. So we're going to be creating a card with a card base of smoky slate. We're going to do some layering in Night of Navy and some stamping in Night of Navy. And then we're going to be using the gorgeous, what is it called? Take to the Sky Designer Series paper, which of course coordinates with Adventurous Sky. I love the stamp set because you can have so much fun with it, and I don't have a ton of masculine-ish options. So this could be masculine or feminine, and I love how well it works for birthday cards and things for the men in my life, or the men I know, or my guy friends. So I kind of struggle. I always have a lot of girl cards or feminine cards, but I don't have a lot of masculine cards. So today we're going to make a masculine card, and I'm going to be showing you this card using this fold works perfectly for the Sweetly Scripted stamp set. Although you could use any sentiment from any stamp set, but I really love how this works for these stamps. And also in the past, Stampin' Up! Has had some similar stamps, so if you still have those, you can use those as well. But again, you don't have to use these. They just work so perfectly. I wanted to show you that. And I actually have a sample for each one of these 6 stamps that I've created. And then I'm going to do some embellishing with the adhesive back metallic gems. I love these. I was hoping I had some navy type gems for this card, but I don't. Hopefully Stampin' Up! Will come out with some. I don't think they have any right now, but the silver works really well since we're using the smoky slate paper. So that's what we're using. Let me get it out of the way and we'll get started. This card is super simple to create. So I want to make sure I'm staying in your window. Okay, I moved my stuff a little bit because we've been traveling a lot and things are kind of not always in the same place when I do that. So you're going to start out with a card base that is basically a half a sheet of paper. So as I mentioned, we are going to use the smoky slate, and it's going to be 5.5 by 8.5. So this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I'm just going to cut it at 5.5 inches. Okay. And then we're going to score it at 4.25. So just your basic card base. I'm going to grab my bone folder while I'm thinking about it. Give it a nice little crisp crease. All right. So that's our card base. And now we're going to cut our first layer, our first triangle. So you're going to have a cardstock layer and a Designer Series paper layer. So I'm going to cut the cardstock layer first. Let me see what... You know me, I always like to use scraps when I can. I'm just looking to see what I have. So I think we're going to use this. So you're going to need one piece that is 4.25 by 3.25. So this is a great way to use some of those medium-sized scraps you have. 3.25 by 4.25. All right. Now, when you have, this is important. When you have your 3.25 by 4.25 cut, you want to put the 3.25 end at the top, and then you want to put the top right corner on your cutter and the bottom left corner on your cutter. Now, it doesn't matter as much with the cardstock because you can just flip it over if you did it backwards. But if you just make a point to always make these cards this way, everything will work out. So you want to cut from the top corner, the top right corner to the bottom left corner. And I'll show you why in a minute. And then since we're cutting a corner to a corner, put your cutting blade in the middle so that you don't crinkle that little corner. You want it to be nice and crisp. So you want your edges to face this way, which is why you have to cut them like this. So if you were to cut it this way, it wouldn't work right. So you want to cut top right to bottom left, okay? So we're going to set that aside, and then we're going to grab some Designer Series paper. And I'm going to use this pattern, and I'm going to show you my other sample. My other sample I used, instead of the Night of Navy, I used copper clay, and it's super pretty, but I wanted to do one with Night of Navy, and there is navy in this, so I thought, okay, I'm going to do it that way. So our Designer Series paper is going to be 3 by 4, so I'm just going to cut this off since it's 3 inches. So 3 inches by 4 inches. It's just a 1/4 inch smaller than what you just cut on the navy. So again, we're going to line up our corners, our top right and our bottom left, because we want everything to be the same way. And I'm just lining it up right there. It's super easy, and cutting that, okay? So now we have 2 like that, and I'm gonna lay that there. All right, and then the last piece, and this is optional. On my sample I'm going to show you, I didn't put a piece of paper in the inside, but on this one, I'm going to go ahead and do it. We'll do something a little different. So this is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I want to make sure I have 5 1/4. I do. So 4. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a layer of Night of Navy. Actually, let's do that. 4 by 5 1/4. You can do a layer of Night of Navy underneath the white to really make it pop, and let's go ahead and do that. So normally you just need 4 by 5 1/4, but I'm going to add some Night of Navy just for fun. Why not? And I think this is going to be big enough. It's 4 by 5 1/4. Maybe not. Let's see. Yes, that can work. So I'm just going to go up, instead of 5 1/4, I'm going to do 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So I'm just going to make it slightly bigger so we have that blue around the edge of the white. So that's totally optional, but I'm showing you how you can step it up a little. So this will go right like that. All right, so that's it. That's it for the cutting. Super easy. All right, so let's go ahead and get our card base out. So what we're going to do is, first we're going to glue these 2 layers together. I'm going to use liquid glue because I like having that little extra time to manipulate my pieces so that I can get them nice and straight. So I just kind of get it where I think it's good, and then lay the rest down, and then since I use liquid glue, I can kind of wiggle them around until they're exactly where I want them. So that's the first piece, and now we're going to do the second piece. I have a gnat. Hopefully you're not seeing that on camera. I have a little gnat in here. I bought a pineapple at the grocery store, and I think that's where it came from. And I cut that pineapple up, but that gnat's still flying around. Okay, that looks good. So there's my 2 pieces. So now that I have those on, I'm going to go ahead and layer those onto my card, and I'm just putting some liquid glue right around the edge, and it gives me something to hold on to. And I'm just going to put them right where I want them, as straight as possible. So there's the bottom, and now I just have to do the top. This card is super easy. You can virtually use any color, any Designer Series paper. And you know what, I haven't tried, but I thought about it, and I'm gonna have to try it. Instead of using Designer Series paper, I think it would be really pretty to take a different sheet of cardstock, emboss it with one of the 3D embossing folders, and use that instead of designer series paper, and I think that would be really pretty too, and I'm gonna have to do that. I haven't done that yet, but I thought about it today and I think that would be really pretty. So there we go. So there is basically the card. So now we want to add something to the inside. So I'm going to grab the happy birthday. As I mentioned, I always need birthday cards for the guys, so this is a good one. Now, because I've already put my stamp on there, I like to put these corners on first so I know exactly where to put my stamp. So if you're feeling good, you can get a long block and mount it on there and go ahead and do your stamping. Since I struggle with that, I do have this Misty from My Sweet Petunia. I'm not an affiliate, but I love their products, and I have several of their products. It's actually where I got this glue press as well. But I'm going to use this, and I love it. You can order these sticky mats that hold your paper in place, which I think is really cool. And since this is a card, I'm going to put the piece of magnet down. So now that I have that down, I'm going to go ahead and place this happy birthday right where I want it. And once it looks good, I'm just going to press it down. So now I could do 20 cards and everything is going to be exactly where I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp. And the other reason I love this too is that if you didn't get a good press, you can ink it up a second time and make it darker. So that's all I have to do. Open it up, perfect. Now this looks fine, but if I was like, oh, it didn't stamp good, I'll show you. You can ink it up again, just like that, and put it right back down. And it's going to go right where you want it. So it's foolproof. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel this up. Put a little cleaner on here. And what I do is I just get my block, stick it on my block. I'm gonna clean it off really quick because I don't want to make a mess. So there we go. That is pretty clean. We'll clean it up more later. All right, so that's the outside. And that Misty helped me get exactly what I wanted, exactly where I wanted it, and the impression is perfect. So if you struggle with that like I do, just get one of these. I love that it comes with grid paper. So you can stamp off, it helps you line up everything. And then these sticky sheets, they come in a 3-pack. They're sticky, but they also have a grid. So again, I'm not an affiliate, but I do love the product. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping on the inside while we have our stuff out. So I'm going to grab the Adventurous Sky, and I'm going to grab You're the Best Plain and Simple. That goes good with the birthday image. So I'm gonna put that right here. I'm actually gonna have to stand up, make sure it's straight. That looks pretty good. So I love how easy this makes all your stamping. And while I'm in there, I'm gonna go ahead and add a plane. I think I'm gonna put the plane right here. And since I'm coloring it all, I'm in the same ink, I can do it all at once. So I'm gonna put that there. Now I'm going to push that down and everything's where it needs to go. Now I could stamp in 2 different colors if I wanted to. I can do this in the navy and maybe this in copper clay. I could actually ink these up separately and do that, but I'm just going to do it in one color. But you have a lot of options when you use this, so I love that. So now I'm going to just give it a good press and pick it up. Look at that. Perfect every time. It's pretty straight. You know me, I struggle with the straight. And then I just peel this off and there it is. And if it didn't come out good in one corner, I would just ink it up and stamp it again. So I wanted to take a second to show you that, because if you need a tool to help you with that, this thing is great. And again, I don't make any money off of it. Maybe I should, but I like to share tools that help me craft better. So, all right, so that's done. Let's get it out of the way. And let's close this ink pad up before we make a mess with it. All right, so now I'm just going to layer these 2 on. I'm going to grab that glue gun again. I love the Stampin' Up! Liquid glue because you don't need a ton of it. All I do is put it on the outside. I mean, you can put a little down the inside. I don't typically do it. It doesn't need it. And I'm just going to get this pretty close, just like that. Look how nice and simple. Just sometimes simple is perfect. So there we go. So now we've got the inside of our card, and we're just going to pop that into the middle with, you guessed it, another stream of liquid glue. And we're just going to get this pretty straight with just a little narrow border. So I feel like when you're working with a really light color, sometimes putting another color behind the white just kind of helps it pop more. So now if you wanted to, you could carry over some of the designer series paper and do another triangle here if you wanted to. I think this is beautiful just how it is. So all we have left is some embellishments. I can't wait to show you my other samples. And since we have gray here, I'm just going to go ahead and use the silver. So just going to put one here, and we'll put one here, and I like how it just adds a little bit of glam. And we'll put one here. Okay, there we go. So that is done. Look how simple that was. It only took a couple of minutes to make this card, and you could make a lot of these cards. So happy birthday, you're the best, plain and simple. And I love this little plane here. So here is the other version I made earlier. This is the same exact paper, but I used the copper clay, which is what's in the airplane, and I stamped, of course, in copper clay. I used some different gems, and then in the inside I stamped the same things, just in a different place, and then I used a little piece of designer series paper to offset. I could have done a triangle over here. I could do a triangle here. I mean, you can do so many different things. Made it simple, but I think it's really cute. So there's our second sample. Let me show you the third sample. I'm super excited about that one. This is a baby card. So this would be for, I guess, a girl. And I used the Bright and Beautiful designer series paper, and then I layered it on Bubble Bath and Fresh Freesia, and it's so pretty because those are the colors that are in these little dots. And then I used the same gems. And inside I pulled a sentiment from a different stamp set. I think this is from Full of Life, possibly. So excited for you. So look how pretty that is. And you could do the same thing and make this a card with in blues and greens. That pack of designer series paper, which is 6x6, is still available. So if you love this paper, jump on it. It's great for birthdays. And of course, look, baby cards. So there's another one. Here is a very elegant happy anniversary. I've got it upside down. Happy anniversary. And I used some of the designer series paper, Seasons of Elegance, I believe. And I use this for Christmas cards, but I had some left. And this is Pretty Peacock and I believe Lost Lagoon. And then I embossed in gold embossing paper the happy anniversary. So it's very glamorous and pretty. And it's a great for a couple. And then inside I also... I pulled the sentiment from, I believe, Country Flowers or Country Birdhouse, and it says, hoping you have the best day ever, and I embossed it in gold. So I kept that kind of gold theme going on in this card. Very simple, but very elegant. So there's my next one. Again, I'm using all of the sayings that are in this stamp set. This next one is Speedy Recovery. I think this paper is Wildly Flowering, and I layered it onto Early Espresso, which is in this paper, and this is simply basic white paper for the base and some matching gems, and it says Speedy Recovery, and then I pulled Wishing You Comfort from another stamp set. So I love to mix and match. There's so much mixing and matching that can be done with your stamp set, so this one worked out perfectly for a Get Well card. This next card says A Million Thanks. This is from, oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of it, but you probably recognize it. It's 6x6 designer series paper, and I'm drawing a blank. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, I'll link it. I'll link it in my blog, but that paper is gorgeous. I layered it on Crushed Curry, which is in there, and Balmy Blue. So I pulled in some of the colors that are in the designer series paper. I stamped in Night of Navy and used navy gems These are not quite navy, but they're sort of blue. So I had 3 of them left in my pack, so I used them. I think they're retired. But beautiful card. And inside, I pulled a saying from the Hope You Know. I think that came from Hope You Know. Just saying thank you doesn't seem enough. Hope you know how much your kindness is appreciated. So this sentiment went perfectly with this greeting from a different set. So that Hope You Know stamp set is great. And then last but not least, the 6th stamp says save the date. So this would be great for an anniversary, a wedding, a retirement party, any type of party, birthday, whatever. I chose to make this one kind of elegant. So it's gold, it's vanilla and gold, vanilla, and black. So I went back and forth on what colors to use. You could really use any color for the back of this, for the cardstock in this card, but I chose black, stamped in black, used some gold accents that bring in the gold foil in this paper. And then inside I use Let's Celebrate, which comes from the stamp set that goes with this paper, and I can't think of what it's called. And then I just cut an extra set of these triangles and popped them inside. So now it kind of looks like I could write in this whole space. But if you wanted to attach like say you printed out a little card with the details of whatever the save the date event is, you could actually leave a pocket opening in this triangle here and slip that card right in there, and then you would have all the details of your party on a little card in this little corner piece. So that would work really well to finish off this card. So there you go. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 samples. I'll tell you, this only took me an hour to make all of these cards, and I had to get up quite a bit to go find paper because it's in my closet in this RV. And so I'd jump up and go get some paper, decide on my colors, get the paper, come back. It took me 5 or 10 minutes to make each card. So you can make these cards super quick. You can think ahead and plan ahead and make out a bunch of these cards. So this is this split triangle layout is a great go-to card layout for you. And again, you don't have to have this stamp set. You can use so many other stamps they would fit, because you've got a good probably 2 inches here to stamp in. You could stamp and add some images or whatever. So there you go. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you don't, so that you get all of this information when it comes out. And then also, if you click the link below, I will have a link to my blog and my online store and everything you need to learn how to make these cards and purchase the items that you need to make them. So I'm the Jill, the Wandering Stamper. I hope you have a peaceful week, not too chaotic, and have a great new year. I know we're very close to finishing out 2024, and I wish you all the best, and I will see you next Wednesday. Have a great week. Bye.